Today's story, I want to tell you about Jack and Isla and a very special day in their lives. Now, Jack and Isla were brother and sister, but they were very different. Jack had a short temper. He easily got angry. He didn't have many friends because it's hard to get on with somebody who's always angry, isn't it? But Isla, she seemed to have lots of friends. Everyone liked her. At home, her bedroom was always tidy, and at school she seemed to be good at everything, and her teachers loved her. Jack wanted to be as good as Isla, and the day I want to tell you about was a day when Jack became as good as Isla, at least in the most important way. Now, the day started badly for Jack because he was lying in bed and he was asleep, and he was woken by his mum shouting upstairs, "Jack, you're going to make us late!" Jack opened one eye and he thought, "I think I'd rather stay asleep." So he shut it. But then his mum shouted again, "Jack, you'll make us all late for school!" And Jack didn't like his mum shouting at him, so he shouted back. He said, "I don't care, I'll make us late." Now, it's one thing lying in late, that's maybe a mistake, but to shout at your mum is wrong, isn't it? Do you know, God says it's important to respect our parents. Now, you might see underneath the pictures, I've got a glass of water for each. And each time somebody does something wrong, I'm going to put some purple into their water. So I won't put any in for Jack sleeping in, but for being rude to his mum, he's got some purple in his glass. Okay, it's turned the water purple, isn't it? And the more that he does wrong, the more purple the water will go. Now, when Jack got to school, his teacher had finished the registration, and she looked at him and said, "Jack, that's late twice this week now." And Jack knew that meant he was going to have to miss break, and his friends knew that as well. So when break time came, his friend Sam thought he'd tease him. So Sam said, "Hey, late boy, enjoy your break." That made Jack angry, and so Jack quickly checked the teacher. She wasn't looking, so he pushed Sam as hard as he could, and Sam whacked his head on the wall and shouted out, "Ah, miss, Jack hurt me. I think it's bleeding." His teacher was angry. He said, "Jack, straight to the head teacher's office." Now, Jack shouldn't have shoved Sam, should he? Add some more purple into the glass. Is that a bit darker purple? Well, the day wasn't going well for Jack, was it? What about Isla? Well, Isla had had a really good start to the day. She was doing art, that was her favourite subject, and she mixed blue and yellow, and she made green paint, and the teacher told her that she'd done a lovely painting. But then after break, it was English, because it was Tuesday, it was spelling test, and today her teacher was checking spellings beginning with ch and sh. And Isla thought, "Oh no, I've not learned all my spellings, but I know some of them, maybe I'll be alright." So the first word was cheese, and Isla thought, ch, that's C-H, and she wrote down C-H-E-E-S-E. She was happy with that. The next word was shine. She thought, sh, that's S-H-I-N-E. She knew that one. But the next word was chair. And she thought, "Oh no, I've not learned this one. I always get them right, but I don't know it." She did always get them right. And she thought about it and she thought, "I think chair at CH, ch," but she didn't know what came next. So, looked at her teacher, and she looked at her friend's work, and she copied her friend's word, CHAIR, and she got 10 out of 10, and her teacher didn't know she cheated, and her friend didn't know she cheated, but Isla knew she cheated. It's wrong to cheat, isn't it? I'm going to have to put some purple into Isla's glass. There. It's not as dark as Jack's, is it? But it's definitely still purple. Well, at the end of the day, usually their teacher told them a story and read from a book. But today there was a woman from the local church who was coming to talk to them. They always enjoyed it when she came. And today she told them about a place called heaven, which is a wonderful place to live, and so good to live with God. But she said only people who are clean on the inside can go there. You know, when we do things wrong, that means we're dirty on the inside. And when Jack heard that, he thought of when he'd been rude to his mum, and he thought of when he'd shoved his friend. And Isla thought of when she cheated in the test. And they each thought, I'm not clean on the inside, I couldn't go there. And the lady went on to say, it's not like when you do something wrong you can rub it out. And you can't just press delete, but it stays there. And there's nothing you can do about it. But there is one person who can. Somebody who was clean on the inside. Somebody very special. The Lord Jesus. And what he did for you was that when he died, it was different to anybody else. Because then God punished him for what we've done wrong, so that you can be forgiven. And Jack thought, does that mean that I can be made good and all those things I've done wrong, that's all washed away? But Isla thought, well, I'm good most of the time, but I still do things wrong. And she thought of what she'd done. And the lady said, you know, God will wash you and make you perfectly clean if you confess your sin to him and tell him that you've done wrong and you need to be forgiven. And so that day, both Jack and Isla both asked God to wash away their sin. They said, I've done wrong, help me to follow you and live your way. Now, it might seem strange that all those years ago when Jesus died, that can make you and me clean on the inside. But what about the purple in the water? Now, if I try stirring it a bit more, that won't make it any less purple. Or if I add some more water, it doesn't stop it from being purple, does it? But there is something special I can add to that, which will make it go clear again. Here it is. And if you leave that for a little bit, it will go really clear. And just like that, the Lord Jesus can make you clean on the inside. When I was 9 years old, I asked him to do that for me. You could ask him today.